Welcome. I'm Patrick Brooks with Wine Shine and Tin City Distillery, and you're watching everything Paso Robles. This is the inaugural episode of Everything Paso Robles. Today I'm here with my friend George Numair of Barrel House Brewing Company. George, what's happening, Kimosabi?
Hey man, thanks for having me on today.
Hey, it's good to have you, buddy. And we're drinking some good old Barrel House beer. So George, what got you into brewing in the first place?
Well, craft beer was like the new hot thing when I was in high school, but I wasn't old enough to buy it. So me and my friends got together. We thought it would be fun to try to, homebrew beer behind our parents' back in the basement or in the closet. And, eventually I decided to make a real career out of it. I came out of the closet and became a
brewer, right? Well, that's better than like stealing it for sure. So just, brew it yourself behind your parents' back. Yeah. So that's one way to do it, buddy. What's your favorite beer to make?
I guess I don't really have a favorite beer to make. I mean, you can't really love one child more than another,
Is that why you only have one child?
That is true. Yeah, I don't have enough love to split. It wouldn't even be fair to split my love between more than one child.
There you go.
But when it comes to brewing, if anything, there's just some beers that are a real pain in the ass to make.
Sure.
Things with a ton of like sticky oats or dense unmalted wheat. But in general, they really are all, a pleasure to make.
What's the most like smooth sailing, easiest, not necessarily easiest, but like the most free flowing one to make?
Yeah, I would say most of the light beers are just big two-row bombs, just base malt, and those usually run off like a dream. You're less likely to get a stuck mash. It's usually smooth sailing.
Okay. Well, what's the most like crazy, off-the-wall, wildest shit you've ever made at the Barrel House?
Last year, Jason got this crazy idea. Jason's the owner of Barrel House, and he got this crazy idea.
Great guy.
For us to make a Oreo stout.
Yeah, that was Jason's idea.
And I said, there's no way in hell. And then he said, we've got 150 pounds of Oreos ordered and on the way.
Holy shit.
So figure it out. And we did. And I was shocked not only by how good it was, but just like how different it was. Like all of the Oreo center kind of dissolved into the beer, and it made this incredibly creamy texture and mouthfeel. And when like the cookie and the Oreo center fermented out, it almost made it was almost like an Irish cream kind of character to it.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
It's scrumptious.
Yeah, and it was amazing. Just, it still tasted like and smelled like Oreos, but it was just crazy how it evolved, just from the fermentation process and what flavors came out of it. So it was pretty wild.
Badass,
it was super fun.
Okay, so I know things have changed a lot during this pandemic, right? Like here we are, we're at 6 feet away from each other, but another thing people have been doing besides distancing is drinking heavily. What have most people been drinking during the pandemic?
I mean, I'd like to think they're mostly drinking Barrel House.
Yeah, for sure. Anything in particular?
We got orders for everything all across the board, but one big hitter was our Big Sur. It's a double IPA we've had for a number of years now, but we finally introduced it in the 12-ounce can format.
Easily crushable.
And yeah, it's been flying off the shelves.
And people like those double IPAs, right? Because they're a little extra bang for your buck.
Yeah, I would say so. And the hop game, like hop growers have been crossbreeding and growing new and interesting varieties. So the aromatics you get off these new varieties of hops, like every year there's something new, there's something interesting, there's some new intense flavor you didn't even think could come out of a hop. So I feel like, yeah, the craft beer industry is definitely driven by IPAs, double IPAs.
So it's time to go pick yourself up a case of some Big Surs then, huh?
You bet.
And when you live near Big Sur, we've got all those fun floral characteristics just abounding up in this natural paradise, right? So you put that right into a can.
I mean, when it's not on fire, it's abounding and
for sure
paradise. Yeah.
Okay, so what have you been drinking the most of during COVID?
Honestly, I've been leaning more towards seltzers.
Yeah?
Yeah, we've been doing some experimenting. We came up with a new concept of tiki seltzers.
People like tiki drinks.
And we're making them with different kinds of fruited teas.
Okay.
Hence the tiki.
So you're making big tea bags?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So and they're really easily drinking too. Like
yeah, they're super crushable, and
yeah.
I mean that's why seltzers in general you're seeing them take off because they're so crushable, and obviously the calorie thing.
Yeah, people like it because you're not going to get a
It's guiltless.
Guiltless beer. There you go. I like it. So, in your brewing career, what is the most off-the-wall, wildest moment you've been a part of? Think long and hard on this one. I'm sure there's a lot. You brewers are some wild SOBs.
I mean, there's been some great, beer festivals that were wild and off the wall. But like at the brewery, like one time when I was at a brewery early in my career, a guy was dry hopping. So that means you're like dumping hops into the top of a tank.
Okay.
And there's a bunch of CO2 already in solution in the beer. So sometimes if you dump your hops in too quick or if the tank is super full, it'll erupt out the top in geyser.
Sure.
And this guy was on top of a tank. I think he was actually on a scissor lift. And he was dry hopping and it geysered. And this tank was like a 250 barrel tank. It's 31 gallons per barrel. So it's a big tank. And it's erupting so much beer. He's getting drenched. He can't breathe because all that CO2 is coming out of solution. And I just hear him go like, George! And his voice kind of dies out.
Help me!
And I didn't know what to do. So I climbed up a catwalk on the tank across the cellar from him. And at that point, we're probably about like 10 feet away. And I had brought another valve with me because I couldn't just slap the coin back on there and secure it. There's too much pressure. So I figured I'd slap a valve on there, secure it, close it.
And save his life.
So I grabbed that valve. I'm up on top of a tank across from him. I took a big breath and I reached out and leapt and grabbed a big beam, swung across the cellar, landed on top of the other tank, slapped that valve on there, secured it, closed it.
And saved everybody's lives.
Saved the world. It's a hero.
You're an acrobat, too. Brewer / acrobat?
Yeah.
Impressive, man.
Thank you.
So if you need a beer or your life to be saved,
This is your guy.
George Numair is your fella.
That's right.
I like it. Cheers to you, brother. So, so is there anything new coming down the chutes at the Barrel House that we should know about?
There's always something new coming down the chutes. Curly Wolf is coming out pretty soon.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, this year we're infusing it with coffee.
Okay. So you get a little extra pep in your step?
Yeah, because it's such an intense, barrel-aged, bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout, we figured the coffee would play well with it. I'm pretty excited about that. We'll probably do the biggest run we've ever done this year, so hopefully as many of our fans and customers can get a hold of a 4-pack.
Sounds good. Okay, so we're talking with George Numair here. He's the brewer at Barrel House Brewing Company right here in Paso Robles. So if you need a beer, you definitely got to head down to Tin City, our little drinking town with a farming problem. And there's lots there. But George, if you don't live in Paso Robles, where can one find Barrel House brews?
We distribute pretty widely in this part of California, like from the Bay Area down to San Diego and through the Central Valley from like Bakersfield up to Stockton, a little bit in Sacramento even.
Okay. So like log on to the interwebs to find it?
Yeah, you can definitely get on our website and we have the locations there. Yeah, honestly, mostly I just make it. Wholly unprepared.
That's the most exciting part, man.
Question.
So, well, you did a damn good job. It's scrumptious. So
thanks, man.
Okay, thank you, my friend. Okay, we have had a great time having George here. Stay tuned to Everything Paso Robles to learn more about Barrel House Brewing Company, other distilleries, wineries, and so much more.